And welcome into Real Deal Sports Talk with KP. It is May 4th, 2019. May the 4th be with you, if you will. For all the Star Wars fans out there, I got my little Star Wars shirt on today. Why not? May the 4th be with you. Fun little saying, fun little coincidence in our language. Why not have some fun with it? Holiday weekend for the nerds and for the people who don't know it's not Mexico's Independence Day. But hey, we got Cinco de Mayo, you got May 4th, all kinds of fun stuff. You got sports going on. You got what? The big horse race today going on there at, what do we got? What's the race called? See, this is how into horse racing I am. You got the mint juleps. You got the horse that's not racing today because of the Asafa, the Kentucky Derby. That's the name of it. See how that's how unconnected to horse racing I am. I could not get at the top of my tongue the Kentucky Derby, which is starting here shortly if the coverage hasn't already started. And then the horse that was the favorite, it's out because it had some kind of esophageal something that needed to take place, and had it been a few weeks ago, the horse would have been fine, but unfortunately for the horse, it happened right before the race, and it will not be racing today. So everybody with their big hats and their mint juleps and all the money they're spending watching these tortured animals race for our entertainment, have fun with that today. Not for me, but hey, go do your thing. What is for me? The NBA playoffs. Are you kidding me? I don't know if you guys watched yesterday, last night, but last night's action was it was great. Both games were good. The second game by far stole the show yesterday. The Nuggets and the Trailblazers going into the 4 overtimes. But the Bucks, they pick up a 2-1 series lead on the Celtics with a nice game by Giannis with 32 points, 13 rebounds, and 8 assists. Jaylen Brown has been showing out a little bit, starting to get a little more action out of him in this playoff series. Jason Tatum's doing his thing. We all hope that Danny Ainge is okay. We saw him go down with the heart attack. So, everybody's watching that situation. But the basketball itself, it's just been great basketball. Giannis was focused in last night in the Bucks-Celtics game. And then the Nuggets-Trailblazers game. I mean, what can you say? It started off looking like it was going to be game 2. Both teams couldn't shoot. Both teams settling for jump shots. Portland finally figured out, let's start driving to the rim a little bit. Denver figured out, let's start driving to the rim a little bit. Nobody's really doing anything. First quarter, nobody really scores. First half, kind of boring. All of a sudden, the second half, it gets lit up. These teams are going back and forth, little runs, coming back, tying it up, going into overtime, going on a run, coming back, going on a run, coming back, double overtime, over and over and over. Big shots, big threes, going up by 3, going up by 2, going up by 5. Everybody's doing their thing. Jokic's playing 65 minutes. He's getting a triple-double, 33 points, 18 rebounds, 14 assists. He's the best passing big man in the history of the league, and he's only 24 years old. And I'm not just making that up. That's not an opinion. That's facts. He is averaging more assists per game than any center in the history of the game at 24. This is not an athletic guy. This is a highly skilled basketball player in Jokic. He is letting the league be known he is here, who he is. He has been a star. He is now an all-star. He is trying to become a superstar. If he can somehow figure out, get some help, get enough help from this Nuggets team to get over, to get into a Western Conference final, to be a team that pushes either a Houston or a Golden State to 6 or 7, maybe even has something break their way and wins a Western Conference final, he will put the Nuggets on the map. He will put himself on the map, and everybody will see what's going on here in Denver. Gary Harris had a great game, some ticky-tack fouls that didn't go his way. He ended up fouling out. Jamal Murray showed up and was consistent throughout the second half, even after a slow start. Will Barton came on in the second half. And ultimately, 4 overtimes in, it was bound to be one mistake, one shot here or there. Rodney Hood comes in off the bench, only playing 20-something minutes to this point into the fourth overtime, where most of the guys on the court were playing somewhere between 48 and 65 minutes at that point. Legs a little fresher, was able to rise up for that three there at the end of the fourth overtime to give them the lead. The Nuggets have a mistake that happens, then they turn the ball over, and that's how the game ends in 4 overtimes. Amazing. First 4 overtime game in the history of the NBA playoffs. And the Trailblazers end up taking a 2-1 series lead with a 140-137 win. Unbelievable. It was like boxing. These guys were going back and forth, toe-to-toe, defensive stops. Cantor's out there playing with one arm pretty much. He played over 50 minutes in the game. Damian Lillard was doing his thing. Didn't have to be the top guy because CJ McCollum went for 41 points and 8 rebounds. He had 4 assists. He was getting in the lane. He was creating space. He had his step back going. What a game, what a playoffs. It had me so energized. I woke up this morning and it had me watching English Premier League soccer. Like I just needed some more competitiveness going on, so I got myself watching soccer. I got the Kentucky Derby going on in the other room just to see some more competition. Today we have great competition in the NBA. We've got the Warriors and Rockets. They're going at it in Game 3 on ABC tonight. 8:30 Eastern. That's going to be a great game. If the Warriors get that one, I do not see the Rockets winning 4 in a row. I do see the Rockets, however, in my opinion, winning today. I think James Harden at home probably goes for about 40 points. I think you see Chris Paul get 20, 25 points and have probably 12, 15 assists. Excuse me, had to take a drink of water. But that's going to be a great game. We've seen the scoring prowess of a Kevin Durant. We're hearing all the murmurs of everybody wanting to now anoint him as the top player in the world because LeBron's not playing. Is Kevin Durant a better scorer than LeBron James? Yes. Could Kevin Durant take a team by himself, pretty much, and make a bunch of guys better to an NBA Finals, even in the Eastern Conference? I don't see that from him yet. I don't. LeBron was able to do that with the Cavs. LeBron was able to do that with lesser talent, with injured teams, with teams missing superstars. LeBron's not there right now. It's easy to say you can't be the best player. You didn't get your team into the playoffs. We all know how dysfunctional the Lakers are right now. We're actually going to talk about that here a little bit more in a minute. Where do the rest of the series stand? Man, if the rest of the series were as good as if we could have every game be as good as the Nuggets Trailblazers game was last night, not necessarily have to go 4 overtimes because that's ridiculous playing 65 minutes. After a 4 overtime game, the Nuggets are going to be struggling to get that win that they need to steal in Portland in Game 4 now because they are going to be tired. They're going to need more from their bench. They're going to need more guys to step up because Jokic can't go out there this time and play 40, 50, 60, minutes. He's going to have those minutes drop down to about 30, 35. That means resting Jokic. That means other guys stepping up. So if we can get all the games to be that competitive, that heated, that will be great. Golden State leads their series with Houston 2-0. Again, they play tonight. Not Portland. Golden State leads their series against Houston. Portland leads the series against the Nuggets 2-1. Their next game is tomorrow at 5 p.m. Then we have the Bucks and Celtics, who we talked about. They played yesterday. The Bucks pulling ahead in that series 2-1. They had us all questioning after Game 1 blowout, 112-90, what was going to happen. Were they flash in the pan? Is Giannis going to get some help? Then they've come out in back-to-back games, put 123 on the board, and beat the Celtics both times. Their next game Monday night in that one. 76ers and Toronto Raptors. 76ers, in my opinion, have taken a commanding 2-1 series lead in that one, winning the last 2 games and kind of just showing they're tougher. They've got more talent. So if you're going to beat us, come beat us, but we're not going to lay down. And I like seeing that out of this 76ers team that shows some maturity that a lot of us I thought wasn't quite there yet. That might be an influence of a Jimmy Butler, having been there, done that, having been in some playoff series, having been in the league a little bit longer. Maybe that's the toughness of Joel Embiid finally coming to the surface, finally, growing into his man body and saying, you know what? No, I can dominate. I can do this. Ben Simmons getting a chip on his shoulder, getting sick of hearing about how he can't shoot, elevating his game in other ways. Tobias Harris doing his thing. And the Toronto Raptors aren't. Kawhi doesn't have any help right now. Marc Gasol has not come over and offered a whole lot. Kyle Lowry has disappeared in the playoffs again. At this point, if I had to pick today, if I was putting money down today, I'd take the 76ers to win this one. Their next game is tomorrow afternoon on ABC, 3:30 start in that one. Toronto looking to steal one in Philadelphia, going back to Toronto on Tuesday. And remember, the winners of all these series go on to play in the conference finals with a shot on the line of the NBA championship. So this is good basketball. It's the top 4 seeds in each conference. And we're seeing good stuff. We're also seeing some not good stuff. We're seeing some guys that need to step up, like a Chris Paul, like somebody else on that Rockets roster, like somebody else last night, Jamal Murray and Will Barton did for the Nuggets, keeping them in that game and finally getting their shot back on track. Like what Milwaukee had as Singleton and name escapes me. As Milwaukee has had guys step up. As the 76ers had guys step up after getting blown out in the first game. It's what you need. It's great basketball. I feel like going out and shooting hoops right now, which is ridiculous. I haven't played basketball competitively in 20 years. It was back in early high school when I did that. But it's got me excited because of the way the guys are playing, the level of the competition. It's just been great. And I can't stress enough, if you missed that 4 overtime game last night, if you didn't get to see those guys going back and forth, changing shots, almost hitting game winners. Even though the team I was rooting for in the Denver Nuggets did not come out successful, what a game. Unbelievable. All right, let's shift gears a little bit from the NBA playoffs to a little different of a topic. How important really is ownership in sports? We see these teams all the time. We hear about the general managers, the coaches. We get interviews from the players and little highlights and clips here and there. And with social media, we're a little more in tune than we ever were. But looking at some of the franchises recently that have started to struggle, some of the great franchises that have started to have troubles, some of the franchises that have owners who are bigger names than the franchise is now. How important is ownership? How important is that structure to have a top-level person at the top who hires top-level people who then coaches top-level players, who has a top-level product on the field? And it's pretty freaking important when you break it down and when you look at it. If you look at the situation with the Denver Broncos over the last 2 years, when you look at the situation with the Los Angeles Lakers over the last 4 or 5 years, what you have is 2 franchises that in that time span have had either family conflict in positions of majority ownership and or trustees that truly couldn't carry through the wishes of the owner because they are not the owner. they are acting as if they are trying to be the owner, as if they're trying to carry out his wishes without being in his head, because they can't. So you've had these teams, these Lakers teams, these Broncos teams, because of that ownership situation, start to struggle. You've had guys, I'm sure, athletes, free agents, prospective players look at these franchises and go, it's not settled there. I don't want to go there. I want to go to a place where it's settled, where I know the ownership's solid, where I know the GM situation's solid, and I know they're going to hire a good coach. They're going to do everything they can for the players. Teams that have reflected that, and I know everybody's going to hate this, and everybody's going to point out to what's going on with this man in the current news cycle, which I understand, I get, but the New England Patriots. Robert Kraft takes over the Patriots. He comes in, he does his thing, he makes it a top-flight organization from the top down. He runs it a good way, not making himself the most important figure, but making the team the most important figure, filling the organization with quality people, filling the organization with people who know their role, getting a Bill Belichick, hiring quality players, having a system in place, putting money into the team, making the players feel good about playing for that situation. You have other situations where you have owners like a Jerry Jones, like a Daniel Snyder, who their names have become just as well known as the names of their clubs, the Redskins and the Cowboys. But they have not had success with the owners that have pumped money into the team, for sure. They want to win. They're trying to do right. But they've put themselves in front of the team. That's the difference with other owners who spend just as much money, but do it in a way that they have to be the face of it. Robert Kraft is not the face of it. Robert Kraft is a face. Everybody knows he owns the Patriots. You can't not know the man owns the Patriots at this point after 9 Super Bowl appearances, and 6 Super Bowl victories. Right? But when you think about it, you know he's not making the decisions. You know he's turned that over to football people. You know Bill Belichick's making those decisions. Top flight owner. He knows his role. He knows what he can do to make the Patriots successful, and he's doing things like that. Mark Cuban did the same thing when he took over for the Dallas Mavericks, when he bought them. Made the locker room better, made the amenities for the players better, got them a plane so they're not flying commercial flights that don't fit giant NBA players, did the little things to make the players happy, to make the employees happy, that made them want to come to work and do their job at the best of their ability day in and day out. Take it out of the sports world, make it a school, make it a business, make it a law firm, make it the police force. If you're not abiding by those similar principles, you're not going to have a happy staff. You're not going to have a fulfilled staff. You're not going to have the staff that wants to come in, give their all each and every day to basically make you money. So the importance of ownership, the saying that it flows downhill, is so important when you look at these different sports organizations. Stan Kroenke, owner of the Arsenal and the Colorado Rapids in soccer, owns the Nuggets, Kroenke Entertainment, owns the LA Rams, owns the Colorado Mammoth. These are all teams that are competing for titles, winning titles, making the leap, the Nuggets, to maybe become a title contender. Because he's investing that money back into it. He has the love of it. He is not the face of it. He is letting the teams be the face of it. And he's kind of a mixed bag because he's somewhere between the good owners and the face owners. Does it necessarily bring you success because you have an owner who's willing to spend and willing to invest? No. Because it's about how you do it. It's about where that money goes, where it's allocated, how the funds help build the product. Does a bad owner doom you? Yes, it really does. Because as much as Dan Snyder wants to pump money into the Redskins and would go out and buy free agents and spend big contracts, his philosophy, his way of running that team has not brought any success to Washington. They've been close. They've knocked on the door, but they're not getting any success. They're not winning championships. They're not winning division titles. Same can be said for the Cowboys. You see it different in baseball. The Yankees, they get mixed results from the Steinbrenners. Boston's had more success since the year 2000 with their two ownership groups winning titles. The Cubs ownership group changed. They won a title. They're staying competitive. Rockies owners have started to figure it out. You've seen a team build its talent base, start to spend money on the homegrown players. So ownership very much matters. The owners cannot own the team because it's an investment for them. The owners have to be in it for the right reasons. They have to run it the right way. They can't just go, okay, I own this team. I want you to run it and report back to me. No, if you own it, you need to be involved. You need to make sure your stuff's doing right. You got the right people in place. And if not, it's yours. Put the right people in place. Otherwise, you will live, in mediocrity. You will never get over. It's that simple. It really is. Ownership is so key, especially in pro sports. Oh, what to move on? Let's talk about Brock Lesnar now, okay? I don't talk about him very much because he could have been maybe an all-time MMA champion. He could have been maybe an all-time WWE performer. Now he leaves the WWE. We hear all these things. He's going to fight Daniel Cormier in August for the title. Now he's retiring, supposedly, Dana White says, and that's not going to happen. He's been in the drug testing program, so we haven't heard him failing any tests or getting busted for anything, so it must not be that. There's rumors floating out there that WWE is trying to give him some kind of bigger deal to come back and finish things out there. It's easier for him to be a WWE performer at this point in his early 40s than it is to be an MMA fighter. He wanted guaranteed money supposedly from the UFC to go into this fight that UFC wasn't willing to give him. Who knows? Maybe the fight still happens at this point. Daniel Cormier, I think he's set to fight Mirkrok, or however you pronounce the guy's name. Sorry, I'm not good with the names. But I mean, what the hell? Why go through all the story? Why go through all this show then? Why go through running into the ring and confronting him and pushing him to not have anything happen? This was a fight Brock Lesnar with Daniel Cormier, in my opinion, would have easily won. He's a bigger guy. He is a more accomplished wrestler, and I don't mean performer, I mean wrestler. And Daniel Cormier, to me, does not have the heart in the big situation to beat the top guys or anybody who's on his level or above his level. He doesn't rise up like that. Can he beat lowered level talent? Can he beat a guy who can only strike and then he takes him to the ground and pounds him? Sure. But when he goes against a better or longer fighter, Daniel Cormier crumbles. He gets beat. And his competitive juices come out and he ends up crying a lot. And I get that. I've cried at sporting events when I've won different things or lost different things or didn't play well. So I get the emotion. I'm not really knocking him for that, but that's who he is. And Brock Lesnar could have come in and taken advantage of that. Could have gotten a big payday. Could have gone back into fighting. And his career was very much derailed by the diverticulitis bouts that he fought with 2 or 3 times, if I remember correctly. And that's huge. I know what that can do to somebody. I've had friends that have suffered from it. I've had family members that have suffered from it. My father suffered from it. And it can almost take your life if it's not dealt with the right way. There was a thing that floated around this week. What was your favorite thing about Brock Lesnar in the WWE? And I had to think about that. I'm like, well, when he first showed up, it looked like, oh, they're going to have this great character that they can work with for years to come. And then he wanted to become a real fighter. And then he's back and forth. And then he's never there. He doesn't defend the title. His matches are super short. Or he gets to take 10, 20-minute breaks in the middle of them while other guys are doing their thing and then come back and win. He's given title shots. And for what? He doesn't have mic skills. He's not a great promo. Paul Heyman does most of the work for him. And then he shows up and does some suplexes and everybody cheers like, oh, what a great product. Now, call me biased because I grew up in the age of the promo in the 80s and the 90s of WWF. When Hulk Hogan and Macho Man and Mr. Perfect and the Hart Foundation and Demolition and all these guys were cutting great promos. Jake the Snake Roberts. So you need some aspect. He needed to find a lane. Like, he wanted to be a fighter. He wanted to be a competitor. The money was probably great coming from WWF at the time. But his competitive juices wanted him to be doing the UFC thing. Health restrictions get in the way, and he just kind of comes off as a bust, basically, or a flake in both. Now, don't get me wrong. He's a great athlete. He's a great competitor. He was amazing at the University of Minnesota, I think is where he was at, as a collegiate wrestler. But he's left me with his professional career just wanting more. WWE wanting more matches, wanting something other than a suplex or a power move. UFC wanting to see him fulfill the physical ability that he had and put it all together. Two guys that are putting it all together for sure right now are Bellinger and Yelich, making early MVP cases for both of them and making baseball extremely watchable early on in the season. Unlike a Brock Lesnar match, these two continue every night, each and every night, 5 nights a week, 6 nights a week, however many games they have in baseball. They're 1-2 in every category offensively in the National League. And they're tied in one of those in home runs. They both have 14. So they're tied in first place there, leading all of Major League Baseball with 14 home runs each. Matching the record of home runs before May of Albert Pujols. RBI totals, they're 1-2. Bellinger has 38 on the season. Yelich has 34. Batting average, Cody Bellinger's batting .415. Yelich's batting .353. I mean, these two guys are raking it. I hope this continues throughout the entire season. I hope both of these guys approach that 72 home run mark that Bond set. I hope one of them goes for freaking 80 home runs or close to 200 RBIs. I want one of them to win the freaking Triple Crown or both of them to be right there at the Triple Crown race in the 1 and 2s. They're both winning their divisions. Their teams are both on top. It's unbelievable the way these two have started off the season, especially with the way Bellinger kind of fell out in the playoffs last year. Yelich came on super strong in the second half and won that MVP. He's continued it through this year. Milwaukee's playing unbelievable. And at this point, I have no reason why to think that it won't be somehow Milwaukee and Dodgers again for who's going to go on to the World Series out of the National League this year. Unbelievable the baseball that's getting played right now by those two guys. As far as where the divisions stand, who's on top, right now Tampa Bay playing still great baseball. The young pitching getting it done. They got a great road record, not as good at home, but they lead the East at a 21-11 mark, 2.5 games up over the Yankees. Minnesota's up in the Central by 2 games at a 19-11 mark. Houston has come back in the West to pull a game ahead of the Mariners, who are playing great this year. They're at 18-14. The Astros are. In the National League, the Phillies have a 2.5 game lead over the Mets at 18-13. The Cardinals are quietly at 20-12, a game and a half up on the Cubs in the Central. And the Dodgers at 21-13 have a 1-game lead over Arizona, who's in a series with Colorado right now. And the Dodgers are at 21-13, a plus 37 run differential. Cubs plus 42 run differential. Astros, big one this year again, plus 28. The Tampa Bay Rays. This team has been in swallow for years. Can't do anything. Plus 49 run differential. Best record in all of baseball. I tell you what, I normally don't start watching a lot of baseball till the end of the year. I'm going to be paying attention a lot more over the summer. This is great baseball being played right now. And hey, if you're not a Dodgers fan or a Brewers fan, I get it. You know, everybody root for their team, but watch these two young studs because the baseball they're playing is unbelievable. There's some great hockey being played right now as well. As the NHL playoffs, Dallas leads their series against St. Louis 3-2. The Avalanche and Sharks are tied at 2. Avs take the game the other night. They play tonight. Avs win that one 3-0 the other night to pull even with San Jose. That has been a great series. Physical, fast, skating. The Avs young players are getting it done. Carolina has swept their series after upsetting the Capitals in the first round. They sweep the Islanders in the second round 4-0. They are now waiting the winner of the Blue Jackets and Bruins series, which is also tied at 2 games apiece. That's where the playoffs are. I could continue talking forever. Check out the website, realdealsportstalkwithkp.com. We're on Twitter. We're on Facebook. You can find us on Instagram now. Trying to move out, get greater things. Hit us up on the text line. Going to be looking to get some fan takes throughout the upcoming seasons in the summer of what you think of your favorite teams to get that on air. So look forward for that coming up. And until next time, you know how we do. Just be real.